and welcome to the podcast. We are going to talk about spirituality and the usual stuff. Lingo bingo, the download. So, I would like to introduce our guests.
Hello, this is Kelsey.
So, we want to put the world to right, and we are going to talk about spirituality, which is a very broad subject and also kind of a sensitive subject to some people, as it's really what they believe in. So we'll try and approach that, unless I talk about my gods and goddesses and angels in my book.
I have a big disclaimer. It might upset some people, as in this podcast we'll be talking about people who've passed away lately and other times, and about people's like religions, about how they talk about their loved ones and how they celebrate their lives. In case it upsets you, we'll be okay if you don't watch this video, but then if you feel like you want to go past that and think, yes, I have loved ones in heaven, but I want to continue listening about what could be happening in this podcast, you're more than welcome to join. So this month we are talking about the UN International Day remembering the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief.
It's such a wide topic because the people can have sometimes extreme views that do hurt people, and then some can be happily living in harmony with other people, and it's just like the world's gone nuts sometimes. But some of them you really have to be sensitive about, and then sometimes it's not. Yeah, it's always a little bit hard when we look at the rights of people and the religion of something. As you said about people who are gay, they, in their religion, it might not be something. So they have the right for sexuality, but also the right for religious beliefs. So it's quite a tight thing, and there's the UN that does all this and tries to raise awareness around the world. I had an old support worker telling me that this guy was Muslim, but he just went in and ate some ham or something, or pork, and they were like, well, you can't tell the difference. So there's that bit of what capacity people have of understanding their own religion or beliefs, or because there's the family essence. If someone really follows their beliefs, then it should be it, or some people might not understand what's possibly being imposed on them due to like upbringing and family and stuff. That's one thing. You got to let them have a little bit of their say. The best thing about going to the Methodist church actually was getting the bread and the fake wine. That was for communion. Once I was old enough to understand that, I actually liked going with my nan just for a bit of bread. Oh, they're doing communion, I'll go and get that. But the Catholic Church is more of a wafer, an actual one.
So my dad, when he was still with us, I actually tried to say to him, if I was bisexual, what would you do? And he said he'd kick me out. So I actually kept that to myself. And then with one of my carers, I said to her that I see spirits and all my spirituality side, and she just says, oh no, it's probably the wind. It's probably the windows open. And I'm like, no, I'm literally telling you that I've seen someone come up my stairs in my old house when you still have family. And she just blanked that out. And until we saw an actual spiritual person saying, oh yeah, Kelsey does actually see people, she believed in them instead of believing in me. And I felt that was wrong.
kind of hard. Actually, I didn't have a I actually didn't have the same beliefs as Muslim people. But I had some support workers that were fun to be around, so that can be kind of good. But yeah, sometimes if they say no or something, I suppose.
I think I've heard like in America, if you're gay or lesbian or trans, they won't allow you in restaurants, pubs, bars, barbers, and I think that's wrong.
I sometimes actually, because I sort of relate to some of it, asexuality, I sometimes wonder, do do people, if they view your beliefs, we're talking about spirituality here, and we're talking about sexuality. I know it's very close, Kelsey.
It all mixes.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
forget,
because
some spirits might be gay.
we are just making it clear that is not a belief about being gay.
So I want to talk about spirituality because loads of people doesn't understand what that word means or what people believe in that side of the world, because people say yes, there's heaven and there's hell, but at the same time I watch all these true films and true documentaries about spirituality, and it doesn't just mean about spirits, it doesn't just mean just about ghosts. So for me, ever since I was a little girl, I've always heard stuff, I've always seen things, seen people, seen demons, bad omens and everything else. So it's like,
Were any of the demons good looking?
Chelsea, no.
Okay.
No, Chelsea. So when I'm at home, I feel two mother figures in my flat, and my mind just goes straight to my mum and my Auntie Julie. So my mum passed away in 2009, and my Auntie Julie passed away in 2011, of long ago. So sometimes I feel like my parents are around, my family are around, but so you actually don't even know who could be actually there. So you don't use like Ouija boards, you don't use the witch boards, because you don't know who can actually be coming out of that board.
I actually like the thought that when my family go, I like the thought of they'll come back and protect me. I like the thought that they would actually make an effort, because they like annoy me already in life, so why are they not going to stop after death? Like, I actually like the feeling of like my family will be like there. Like, if I had a nasty support worker when they've like all gone, and they're going, you know, like scaring the support worker, and I'm like, yeah, you didn't, mum didn't agree with that. That's what I like to think, like they'll be like looking after me. I like the thought of them all coming around, like in times of need when they've all gone.
But if you look into Discovery Plus, there's actually shows and actually show you all the instruments, as I'm guessing, of all the things that they use. But there's one thing that you would never use, which is called the Ouija board, because that actually brings out the bad people.
I think my mum would probably scare them off.
Do you go to a spiritualist who says your parents have passed away, your nana passed away, whatever?
No, I've never done that. I would be curious.
What happened to me? So I went to see a spiritualist with one of my carers and a boyfriend and my uncle Michael, who is my dad's brother. So we went to the Fleet in Horbury, which is where I live, and we went to see a spiritualist. And you've got to be careful of who's on your friends list on Facebook, because they could send you friend requests, look through all your information, see who's actually passed away, and use that, or whatever you're wearing, like jewellery, it could be your family members' rings, necklaces. So you got to be careful on who you're actually going to see, or have someone come to your house. I think spirituality is a massive thing, because people like don't believe in it, and it's not fair on other people that actually do believe in it because they want to share stories. So I've done it a couple of times, and I've told people that I love, or family members, or other people. So I've said to my dad when he was still alive, that I see spirits and all this other stuff, and he never believed me. Well, when I told my brother, he actually went upstairs because I actually heard a spirit going in the bathroom, and I literally froze out anxiety. So he went up and he just goes, "Oh, Kelsey, there's literally no one there." And he goes, "Your face is white. Have you seen a spirit?" I went, "Yes." People might be scared, so they might not want to be in a relationship with you. They might not want to have a friendship with you. I came out to my boyfriend, and he got scared at the beginning, but then he got used to it because I keep saying, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to do anything to you. My mom, my dad passed away. I always smell them. Their perfumes, aftershaves. So for me, it's all the values you got to respect. You got to have ambition to be able to talk about it. You got to have the courage to be able to say that you've had something happen, you've seen someone or seen something. Respecting people's beliefs on the spiritual side and the other side, because they might not actually see them or not believe in them, then you should accept that kind of side because it might scare them or it might ruin the friendship or relationship you've got with them.
I swear I once saw something glittery go into the mints, and I called out to it once. And I don't know what it was, but it could have been a trick of the mind or something. But I was like there, and I was like, if you're a fairy. Mind, I was quite young at the time, but old enough to probably question whether it was or not. In the future, far in the future, in decades maybe, when my family have all gone, that they'll come and like keep an eye on me. That's the comforting thing. So apparently we are now doing the lingo bingo called
Challenge the lingo, 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 challenge the lingo, bingo!
Lingo bingo is not don't be silly, tell me more, like does he have a car?
No,
You
tell
say-
me more about spiritual stuff. So for me, if one of my carers said, "Don't be silly about seeing things," then my beliefs might change and then just drop. So you've got to be careful on what you say, what my carers or someone else's carers could be saying. So instead, they should be saying, "Oh, tell me more about what you've seen, what you've heard," instead of just blanking it.
It sounds more like what my family might say than my support workers might, because we actually went hunting for ghosts in. It was a old prison thing.
What did it make you feel like when your family and your carer said, "Stop, no, don't be silly," though?
It's always like, yeah, all right, and then you do drop your beliefs a little bit, but sometimes you do pick it up again. Like I think I was a teenager at one point, and I looked up of being the priestess for Glastonbury. When people say don't be silly or something, it's just like, oh well, okay. Like you have to like shrug it off a little bit of what you experience or what you've done. So it can be a little bit dismissive, can't it? I think they need to sometimes see it as a bit of an adventure, like maybe instead oh, okay, we're searching for ghosts, this should be fun, we're going to go somewhere interesting, we're going to go and do a good activity, that sort of experience. Going off to do those sort of experiences is should look for the support worker should be exciting, like, and try and view it from a different angle, I suppose. If you have, I don't think I've ever been to a mosque. Of course, I would want to nose about and see what it looks like, and let me share this your beliefs with me. So sometimes it's about expanding what you know.
They should accept your beliefs, whether it's spiritual stuff or any beliefs that you believe in, and they should sit down with you and actually talk about it.
This month at council, we talked about
what's going to happen in the face-to-face.
We're going to meet up in September. At some point, we'll be in a hotel, Eaton, and we'll be going to a different venue, I think, wasn't it? That was thing. So yeah, and then I will get to see you, Kelsey, in person. Oh yeah, we had Emma as the chair as well, vice chair, wasn't she? And I just stayed back. And now we are going to do our download section, and we're going to talk about what we've been doing, and yeah. Kelsey, what have you been doing? Listening, talking, reading, writing, finding new hobbies?
So my hobbies, as we said in the podcast, is spirituality. So me actually seeing spirits, trying to get more into my spiritual side. So I'm trying to learn more about that side. Actually watching real spiritual stuff on YouTube and Discovery Plus and all that amazing stuff. But then also Disney, as Michelle knows.
Get that short, Kels.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to spice it up. I did the Wave project. I can sort of stand up on in Bristol, and I can sort of stand up on a surfboard, and as you may have known, I'm now challenging myself to do all my books. I'm writing a series called which is the alternative autism universe, which is a whole fantasy thing universe, and I already knew I wanted a few gods, and then I started doing the gods of different disabilities, and they've got angels, and I think they've got 2 demons, and yeah, and you know, everyone worships who has learning disabilities or difficulties, worship them. One of them is called Steve. He's the god of autism. Thank you for listening to this month's podcast. Hope you have a good time. Love you lots. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Chelsea and Kelsey. Please contact Dimensions Council at dimensions_uk.org and leave comments.
Maybe they could even comment underneath the video about what their beliefs are.
Yeah, I want to know all their beliefs. Goodbye. This month we are remembering and stuff of the International Day Oh, Kelsey, you read it out. Do some actual work.
Oh, thanks. I would do some work.